foreign cars filled with fuel that isn't ours, and wearing cotton we didn't grow. He's got the red, white, blue flying high on the farm, Semper Fi tattooed on his left arm. Spent a little more in the store for a tag in the back that says USA. He won't buy nothing that he can't fix. With WD-40 and a Craftsman wrench, he ain't printed dust. He's just made in America. He loves his wife, and she's that wife that decorates on the 4th of July, but says every day is Independence Day. She's golden rule, teaches school. Some folks say it isn't cool, but she says the Pledge of Allegiance anyway. He's got the red, white, blue flying high on the farm, Semper Fi tattooed on his left arm. Spent a little more in the store for a tag in the back that says USA. He won't buy nothing that he can't fix. With WD-40 and a Craftsman wrench, he ain't printed dust. He's just made in America. Born in a heartland, raised up a family, a King James and Uncle Sam.
Looking for hire. Looking for hire. 052 at 15000, looking for hire. 052, passing flight level 190, climbing flight level 210, looking for hire. Looking for hire. Looking for hire. You are looking for hire.
I am Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Malachowski, and I am an American Airman. When I was 5, I went to an air show, and that's where I really turned my vision towards joining the Air Force. I remember looking my father in the eye and saying, I want to be a fighter pilot someday. And my parents, both of them, mother and father, looking at me and saying, we think you'd be a great fighter pilot someday. If they had told me something different, like girls can't be fighter pilots, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
My name is Colonel Benjamin Alvin Drew Jr. I grew up in Washington, D.C. When I was growing up, if you look in any of my textbooks, any of my notebooks, you'll find the margins filled with doodles of airplanes, jets, rockets. If it left the surface of the earth and went somewhere else on an adventure, it was probably going to fill my imagination. If you weren't going to go to college, then you would go into the service. And for me, I didn't necessarily want to choose between the two, so I tried to do both. My experience in the Air Force is that your competency and your character count, and almost nothing else does beyond that. If you are willing to work hard enough to go do the things necessary to get where you want to go, you can get there. I was flying helicopters in special operations, applied to become a test pilot. I got into the test pilot program. Every 2 years, usually NASA has a levy for astronauts, and every 2 years, test pilots and test engineers apply to become astronauts. So in about the year 2000, I applied to become an astronaut and got accepted. Looking back 11 years later, no, I had no clue as to the magnitude of how much life would change. I don't know if there's anything that can prepare you for leaving the Earth the way you do in a space shuttle. About 10 seconds out, the shuttle main engines ignite. The best way to describe it is like 10 million subwoofers stampeding up that shuttle stack, and they ultimately engulf you. You get shoved back into your seat and you are leaving the pad. You don't know if you're going into space, but you know you are not sitting at that launch pad anymore. At about 8.5 minutes, we were about 100 miles up, going about 17,500 miles an hour, and the engine's cut off. So I went from being pressed into my seat at 3 Gs to being weightless. Being one of those kids who wanted to become an astronaut and actually growing up to be an astronaut is a surreal experience. When opportunity knocks at your door, it's sometimes a scary thing. It would be easier thing to do would be to simply go off and do something that seems more realistic. Don't be realistic. Don't be reasonable. Be bold, be courageous in following that dream. Everyone takes a certain amount of courage to step across that threshold and into that new adventure.